I got off at work around like 4, but I used to get home and then I used to start doing drugs. You know what I'm saying? But I would dance by myself, bro, for like 4 or 5 hours. And then when I was coming down, I used to love to listen to Beyonce if I were a boy. I'm serious. Like I'd be drenched in sweat, bro.
From dancing.
And I would love to listen to Beyonce if I were a boy.
Honest, bro.
Huh?
I give you props though.
Why?
Because you're too honest,
bro. Like that's what I would listen to, bro. I would love to listen to that, and then I would listen to songs that I've never heard before. And then I swore that I knew the lyrics right off the bat.
Wait, what were you on, dude?
I would do cocaine, marijuana, lace it with dro, and then I would do. I had a hookah bong.
So you were smoking primos.
Uh-huh.
You were putting the coke in the joint or in the blunt
inside, and then on top of that, I would cook the dro. And
do you guys call them primos and nogales?
Uh-huh.
That's crazy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then I also had a hookah. Because I couldn't afford like a real fancy bong.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought like a $20 hookah bong or hookah. And I would smoke weed out of that and then lace it with cocaine.
Did you only do weed or did you do other things?
No, I did acid, cocaine, and weed. That's what, and then shrooms. Yeah, but I would only do shrooms when I would go swimming.
I like shrooms, man.
Oh my gosh.
Because I when I would underwater, I would trip out. I was like, I felt like I was like in Little Mermaid's world. Like where I would see castles and
I've had some bad
like
trips, bro.
fishes and stuff like that
I had
underneath.
some bad trips on shrooms.
Yeah,
I didn't.
too.
I mean, not shrooms, sherm.
Oh no!
I did shroom one time. I was like, that's it.
I fried for like 4 days in Puerto Peñasco.
On shrooms?
That was probably on acid.
Oh,
that was probably the last time because, like, it was 4 of us, and we all fried, dude. But like you had those moments of consciousness, and then you trip out again.
Yeah.
And I was seeing my friends trip out, bro. Like one of my friends changed clothing like 6 times because he thought that by changing clothing he would come off the trip. And then he showered, bro.
That's so crazy,
he would jump in the shower and then he would start running around naked in the room. And it was during the whole cartel stuff in Puerto Peñasco. So I remember going outside, bro, and I would see greyhounds running in the street.
Yeah.
I would see greyhounds, and then I would start seeing boxers, like boxing in the street, dude.
Like actually boxing?
Yeah, boxing.
What kind of
and I was
LSD were
tripping
you on?
out.
Do you
I don't know.
remember the name?
No. All I know is that we used to dip Skittles. Skittles. We used to dip them inside.
Okay. In the LSD.
And then
that's a
pop
lot,
'em.
bro.
You know what I'm saying?
What would you dip them in?
The acid, the LSD.
Oh my god.
But yeah.
So what's sherm? You mentioned
Formaldehyde.
sherm.
Well, sherm is PCP. I don't know exactly like all the chemicals that are in it, but I know that embalming fluid.
So people actually like smoke that stuff?
They'll dip a cigarette in it, or they'll dip a joint. But that stuff, bro, I was smoking that in the late 90s because I started smoking weed at an early age. Probably I was 12 maybe, which was like 97. And 97, 98, 99. And around that time, sherm was pretty big here in Tucson. Everybody was talking about smoking sherm and stuff. And one of the suppliers that I knew, I'll just put him on blast. One of my best friend's stepdad. My best friend's stepdad would sell weed, but he would dip it. Well, he would throw angel dust in it. Just little bits of it. He would lace it with angel dust so that people could say, wow, this is some good stuff. And they'd keep coming back to him. So I was smoking that weed, not knowing that it was laced with angel dust. And I'm like 14 at the time. And I remember just getting like these really weird highs, dude. Like, and after a while, I found out that that's what I was smoking.
Didn't they say that angel dust, once you do it, you're hooked?
No. This is more of a mental high. So like the drugs that you can get hooked on, like where your body needs it, is like heroin, opioids, like Percocets and stuff. Crack is very addicting, I hear. So is meth. People say that you can get off of it if you want to, but everyone that I know that smokes meth or that was on crack, it has had a problem.
Were you in a chicken coop cooing like a bird?
The thing is that everybody reacts different. to a drug.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I know people that tried it once or twice and they stayed up. You know what I'm saying? Like they never came off that trip.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And me, by the grace of God, you know.
That's one of the
so,
reasons why I never wanted
Oh,
to
yeah.
mess with psychedelics, bro. Because my mind was already like too crazy.
Yeah.
So
And
there's
I'll-
people that do acid and they never come off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's stories too. Have you heard the one about the guy who thought he was a glass of orange juice?
No.
Okay, I don't know if this is true. But there's a lot of stories on like people who stayed high on acid. So one of them, one of the ones that I heard, and this is a long time ago, dude. I was a kid when I heard this. And this is what made me not want to do LSD. But it was a guy who was running from the cops, and he had a whole sheet of acid. And I guess like at the time, or wherever this guy was, getting caught with a whole sheet of acid was a big deal. So what he did is he ate the whole sheet. You're only supposed to take like a tiny bit. He ate the entire sheet, and he stayed high. So this guy, he was in a mental hospital, and he always had to sit up or stand up, but he could not lay down, because if he laid down, he thought he was gonna spill over,
He would spill
because
his
he
juice.
thought that he was a glass of orange juice, and he really believed that. I don't know how true that story is.
I mean, but how easy would it be to just grab him and tip him over, and then you say, "Look, you're still here, buddy."
He would probably die though, because in
Anxiety.
his mind,
Yeah.
he believed it. You know.
Oh, that's true. Here you go, buddy. You're fine.
And I know that because, dude, I remember being on Sherm, and I remember feeling like nobody can stop me, like feeling unstoppable, dude. I was a little scrawny kid as a teenager, and I thought that I was hard, and I would go start crap with people, and luckily, people were intimidated by me. Nobody ever like did anything to me, but I intimidated people because I came off so aggressive,
yeah.
but because I was on this drug that made me feel powerful.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I thought that I was like Superman, dude. And I remember talking to myself like, nobody can mess with me.
So
nobody.
when it comes to shroom, because I've never done, would you say shroom? Sherm.
Yeah.
I never did Sherm. But do you think that other people react differently to Sherm, or is it that type of drug to where it makes you feel invincible, unstoppable? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Is that the side effect?
For example, like, there's just a real common drug, weed, right? To some people, it
Mellows them out.
mellows them out. For other people, it makes them feel invincible. For other people, they cry, right? Stuff like that.
For me, it gives me anxiety. I don't do well
yeah,
with
see?
weed.
So, but when I used to do it, all my problems would go away. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, man, I'm going to be able to get through this. I'm going to be able to make it, right? And then when it come down, I'll be like,
I'm not gonna make it.
I'm
not
so
gonna.
screwed. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
so crazy.
So,
Wow.
but is Sherm that type of a drug to
No.
where that's the side effect to where, hey, I feel invincible?
Sherm is like se te mete el diablo, bro. Sherm is you believe.
So it's an aggressive.
Yeah, so
Aggressive response,
People,
aggressive side effect.
okay, there was this one guy who was on Sherm who thought he could fly, and he jumped off of a roof.
It makes you feel
and
invincible
died.
then. Yeah, that's what it is.
So now check this out. Remember in the 90s how there was so many drive-bys with the gangs. There was
Yeah.
so much gang violence, but these were all young kids. Now think about it. How come it was only that generation that was like that? Okay?
That's good. Good thoughts.
During that time, bro, Sherm
And angel dust were big.
Were
Yep.
were the drugs that the gangbangers used to use. If you listen to the old rap CDs, like even like Black Market, Brother Lynch, X-Rated, they were always talking about smoking Sherm.
Really?
If you listen to like Brownside, Chicano rap, they're always talking about hitting the Sherm stick. In LA, that was a big thing. Everywhere, bro. Like all the gangbangers were smoking Sherm. So every time that you would go do a holla, like you were gonna go do a drive-by or something, that's the drug that you were smoking, because it would remove fear from you, and that's why there was so much violence, bro.
Even nowadays, like you talk about, just one example, home invasions, right? When people bust into people's homes and stuff like that, the majority of the time, these guys are drugged out, right? They're on some type of,
I know meth does the same thing to you too.
Meth,
The meth,
yeah.
because I've known guys that were not aggressive, and when they started smoking meth, all of a sudden they had nuts.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with alcohol, right? Like with my family, and my family, I have family members that, I kid you not, when they're drunk, they think they're rich. Like they start talking like if they have all the money in the world.
And they start spending it.
You know what I'm saying? And they start spending it, right? I have other
Bring me around
friends,
your family, when they're
family,
drunk.
you know what I'm saying? That they get aggressive, and now nobody can mess with me. You know what I'm saying? And they
just want to fight everyone.
Yeah, there's that type of like party poopers that nobody likes to be around.
What do they call it? Like liquid courage? Whatever?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
For me,
Heard
when I
about
was
that.
drunk, I would just get real talkative. You know what I'm saying?
I'm the
Joke
same way.
around and stuff like that. So
I was a happy drunk too.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with alcohol. I think that, I don't know, with these types of, like marijuana and alcohol and stuff like that, they're not that heavy. I think what comes out is maybe what you have inside. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have an insecurity about money, this is like your chance to be like, oh no, I do have some money.
Point.
And that's
You know
what
I'm
makes it
saying?
so
Or-
appealing.
Yeah, or if you get aggressive, is because you want to prove a point to people, right? That you're not weak.
That's
but you
true.
might have that insecurity that people, you know what I'm saying? Again, I don't know if that's the truth.
That
For
makes
me-
sense, though.
For me, it was because I was, trying to find love and stuff like that, and
No, that is so true, bro. Because I've always deep down inside I've been a friendly person, bro. Like even at work, like I'm always like I see a new person, bro, and I can't help but to want to meet this person.
Yeah.
But that's just how I am, bro. When I would drink, I was happy, bro.
Yeah.
I could, like you said, I would get talkative. I'd be more goofy, and I was happy when I was drunk. That's why I was an alcoholic, because that was the only thing that made me happy.
Yeah.
Weed, on the other hand, when I was a kid, I would get high and laugh and like everybody else. But as I started getting older, weed took a turn on me. Like I began to overanalyze things, where I would be sitting there just like overthinking stuff and like figuring things out and be like, oh dang.
like a drug,
So
like
that's
a revelation
why.
type.
Yeah, like having like these revelations.
Yeah.
And after a while, I began to think way too deep into things, to where I began to drive myself crazy. So now every time that I would smoke weed, my mind would right away go there, and then I start getting anxiety, like, oh my God, I'm losing my mind, And
No, I had a love for it. Like
so that's why I stopped smoking weed.
And you know what? And for me, I had a love for it. Like I would get excited. Like I'd be at work, and I would count down the seconds, the minutes to where I can get off of work and go home and just, you know what I'm saying, roll a blunt, right? Cook some stuff and just get high. I remember one time, between me and my roommate and a cousin of mine, we rolled up 7 blunts and just smoked them, just here you go, 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 here you go.
Were you like a indica or sativa?
Sativa.
Okay, yeah, sativa is a mental high.
Yeah.
And I know
Yeah.
indica is more of like a relaxing body
that
high.
was sativa. But that was my escape. You know what I'm saying? The cocaine was more of a
to stay
social,
up so you can keep drinking.
the social, yeah, exactly, right. And then 2-3 o'clock in the morning hits, and your supplier's already asleep. He's not answering your calls, and then all of a sudden you come down, and then all that alcohol you drank hits you, boom, like a rock.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're drooling, because you're all stupid faced.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
the effects of the alcohol is still there, and it just hits you when everything that's masking it
So
is gone.
the cocaine.
the cocaine is like, it accelerates.
Yeah,
you.
it helps you
Yeah.
stay up so
Yeah.
that you can keep drinking.
So you don't feel it. You don't
because
feel
after
it.
a while, I mean, you still feel drunk, but not like disgusting
Yeah.
drunk.
So
Exactly.
then, what's the point of drinking?
So
if you don't feel the
because
effects of it?
people who do pase or cocaine. I'm sorry, I'm over here speaking like Mexican slang
Perico.
terms. Perico. So
Yeah,
people
yo.
who do cocaine, or at least the people that I know, especially Mexicans, they drink a lot, and they want
It's
to
a
drink
social
all
drug.
night. Yeah, they want to drink all night. But me personally, after like 7 or 8 beers, I'd be like,
Yeah, you're gone.
It's like a balance. It balance you out.
So
you
it's
wake you up.
it's a balance. So you
drink
take the
more.
cocaine.
Because the alcohol is a
Do
downer.
more coke.
Right, but
drink
the
more.
alcohol, the effects of it, I mean, didn't you already achieve that goal?
No, because I would
So
I
what
would
would be
never drink to get drunk.
You just drink
Unless,
to hang out?
unless
You
you're
can
an
keep drinking.
alcoholic. Unless you're an alcoholic, then you drink to get
Just stay normal.
exactly to function,
Yeah.
right? When you go out, you party, or you know, family or friends, you know, after a 6-pack, 7, you're just like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? But when you do the cocaine, it balances it out to where you feel drunk because you feel loose. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like you feel loose, but you still at
So
it.
you still feel good.
Oh heck yeah.
The
Yeah,
whole
because
time.
you're awake now.
Yeah.
You're
You
not
drink
drunk
more,
like,
though. You drink a lot more
you're
now.
more like,
Yeah, exactly. You know.
But how long? So how long do the effects of cocaine last?
not very long.
No.
Yeah, it's like,
I think it all depends too on the
quality.
of it. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So
but
yeah.
normally, I guess, like, if you were to do, like, it depends. Like, I didn't like doing lines because I didn't do cocaine a lot. I would do it like occasionally when I was drinking with like cousins and stuff. I'll take like a few bumps here and there, because I mild OD'd on
Oh, wow.
cocaine twice.
How much did you do?
The first time I did like a whole quarter ounce by myself,
Gosh.
and that's because during that time I was selling cocaine. Me
You
and
got
my
high off your own product? That's why. It's
Yeah.
a problem with that.
Yeah, dude, I've always I mean, I never really had a problem with drug addiction, but I've always been around drugs. So I've tried them.
Oh, okay.
You know, but cocaine was a drug that I would just do when it was there. I never went out of my way to get it, but I used to sell it. So because I sold it, sometimes hanging around with certain people, I'll be like, I'll take a couple bumps.
Yeah.
You know, but there was this one time, one of my friends, he got a whole ounce, and he's like, a quarter of this, a quarter is gonna be for us. He's like, so clean out your nostrils, we're gonna party tonight. I was stupid, bro. I was 16 years old, freshly backslidden from church, and
Clean out your nostrils.
I was doing lines
You don't wanna
like
waste it,
this,
huh?
bro.
Oh, yeah.
I was doing lines like this,
Yeah, no.
and then
Oh
like
my
an idiot, I was
gosh.
like doing it with my mouth. I had like the straw, doing it with my mouth, and because that's what the guy that I was hanging around with, he was older, and that's what he was doing.
So you were following him.
So I'm just doing what he's doing,
Yeah.
you know. And then after a while, like I'm just like I felt like really like I couldn't sit still, and I remember I could just hear my heart boom, 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 boom. And I put my hand on my chest, and I was like, oh snap. And I looked at my friend, and I was like, his name was Jose. I'm like, Jose, look. And he put his hand on my chest, and he's like, you're good, dog. Just smoke a cigarette. And he gave me a cigarette.
man.
So cigarettes are stimulant,
Yeah.
bro. But I didn't know this at the time. I'm a 16-year-old kid. So there I go. I light a cigarette, and I had a 40. He's like, just down that 40. So I'm downing the 40, and I'm smoking the cigarette. And then this crackhead,
so the cigarette will bring it back down.
No, it accelerates
it
it.
accelerates
Oh.
it. Yeah.
He didn't know.
I didn't know that though at the time. So there was this crackhead. I'm not gonna say his name. I'm just gonna make up a name. His name was Augie.
Say Ken.
I like Augie better.
Ken the Barbie.
So Augie comes by on his bike because Augie would come and buy stuff from us. So Augie came by and he's like talking to us and stuff. And then he's like, what's wrong with this guy? And he's like, oh man, he's just tripping out. He thinks he's dying. And he's like, what'd you do? I was like, I did a lot of cocaine. My heart's beating really fast. And then he's like, oh, snap. And when he went like that for a crackhead to say
do
that,
that, yeah.
that scared me.
Yeah.
I was like, and my heart started beating even
Even
faster, dude. And I remember,
Could you feel it in your throat?
yeah.
Oh,
And my heart was just like,
Bro, that's how my heart gets when I play Fortnite. No, I'm just kidding. When I'm
so,
Same
cranking,
thing, same effect.
when I'm cranking, same thing, bro.
yeah, that was scary.
So what'd
bro.
you do?
So my friend was like, that dude was like, dude, you got to do something for him. And then right when he said that, his mom opened the door, and then she's like, what did you do to him, Jose? What did you give him?
So his name was Jose?
Yeah, my friend.
Oh.
Yeah,
Not
the guy
the
I was hanging
crackhead.
around with. Not the crackhead.
Not
And I remember the crackhead was like,
Ken.
the crackhead
Not
was
Ken
like,
the
just
Barbie?
get him some milk And then
Milk.
open the hose and we're going to pour water on his head. And then so I'm right there and they're like pouring water on my head. And then the mom comes and gives me a glass of milk. And then she's like, are you okay, mijito? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. And I'm like, I downed the whole glass of milk. And then I sat down and my left arm started getting numb, bro. And I was like, hey, dude, my arm's getting numb. And that crack was like, yeah, call 911.
Really? And you did?
They did. They called the paramedics. I passed out, bro. I passed out. And then when the paramedics, I woke up and the paramedics were there.
Mm-hmm. You were going to die. What happened?
The paramedics were there.
Did you die?
You were going to die.
Twice dead.
We got to do a story on his life. Do a play.
And that's how I was born again.
So what happened though?
I was literally born again.
So they gave you some what?
No, so I was there.
Some juice?
More milk?
And then they walked
They're
me
all, did you
across.
give him milk? Okay, good. You're going to be fine.
Wait, was it
whole milk?
Was it
was it
2%?
whole milk or
2% milk?
It was skim. Oh no, you're screwed. You're screwed.
It was almond.
Hey, thank God it wasn't almond
It was
milk.
almond milk. Dark chocolate.
It was soy. No, but anyway, so they threw me in the back of that. Oh no! First they walked me across the street to my house and woke up my mom. And that's the last thing that I wanted.
How old were you?
16.
Oh man.
Yeah, and my mom was like having a heart attack, dude. And
So were you.
Yeah.
I remember
Your whole family was having heart attacks?
were like, yeah, his heart is at 100. I didn't know this stuff at the time. The paramedics were like, yeah, one of them said, yeah, his heart is at 192.
Oh.
And then I was like, what does that mean? And one of the paramedics looks at me and he goes, that means your heart is hollowing, son.
Hollowing?
Yeah.
Howling. Right?
What'd you say?
Hollowing.
Hollowing?
Howl.
What the heck?
Halloween heart.
Halloween.
Hollowing.
Hollowing.
What's hollowing
Like
mean?
getting hollow?
Hollowing.
What's hollowing?
What are you saying?
What's hollowing mean?
Hollowing.
Hollowing?
You don't even know what you're saying.
I don't.
That's why he's not explaining it.
What's hollowing?
I don't remember what the word was that
You
he
mean
used.
howling.
Howling. Maybe that's what it was.
Hollow is like hollow. It's like there's nothing there.
Yeah, I know.
Howling
Like
is
hollow point tips. Yeah.
hollow.
Oh, point tips.
Anyway, so
Did you die? I'm just waiting for the part where
no, so I got in the
I'm just waiting
ambulance,
for
bro,
when you saw
and after that,
the afterlife.
I really started to get scared because my heart wouldn't slow down. It was just getting faster and faster. So I remember I said the sinner's prayer.
really.
I was
Oh.
like,
Go ahead.
I was like, God forgive me, for all my sins. And I was there. I went to the hospital. I think they gave me like some Ativan and I don't know what else, and it knocked me out and slowed my heart down. And that was that time. There was another time that I was older, and I was selling cocaine.
Did you do a quarter ounce there as well?
No, this wasn't a quarter ounce. I think it was probably like a whole 20. But I wasn't. My body wasn't used to it. And I went to go hang out with someone, and someone that I was supplying. And while just hanging out there with them, they were like, "You want some?" I was like, "Yeah, cool." And I'm just doing it, but I'm doing as much as this person's doing, And then after a while, my heart was like,
It was probably from the first time,
and well, this is already years later.
but still, like when you have
Muscle memory.
when you get like bronchitis or pneumonia,
Mm.
your lungs are stained or whatever you want to call them, so you're more susceptible to stuff.
Oh, that's probably
regardless-
what is
regardless
affecting-
of whether if it's
That's probably
10,
why my
15,
heart
20
beats really
years
fast.
in a row.
That's probably
No,
what
it's
affects
'cause-
it now.
No,
'cause
that's what
it's
it
used
is.
to that.
So that's probably what it is.
It's traumatic.
I got viral pneumonia
okay.
when I was
Oh.
like 17.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm susceptible to pneumonia or bronchitis, or like, if I play basketball, which I never do, that's why I'm overweight. But my lungs.
Overweight.
you know what
I'm
saying?
overweight.
Bro, I'm
dude.
overweight, bro.
This guy.
Bro, I'm overweight. Anyways,
Wait, I've had walking
So-
pneumonia. So does that mean I'm susceptible as well?
if you've had pneumonia, period, yeah.
Oh crap.
So that's probably why, because 20 is not a lot. It's not. You know what I'm saying? 20 was like a regular.
Or 20.
shoot.
Well, yeah, but I wasn't used to it because I didn't do it.
Uh-huh.
But I did do a lot with this person.
Okay.
So then I didn't want to make a big scene or anything. I was like, I'm leaving. I gotta go. And as I'm driving, I'm like, I'm gonna be okay. There's nothing wrong with me, And I was on the freeway and I was passing Keno Hospital, and I was like,
I gotta stop.
I'd rather be safe than sorry, you know. And I went in there because my heart was again beating really fast. And when I walk in there, I see this girl that I know, and she's right at the front, bro. And remember how I was telling you earlier, like I used to try to hide that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So I walked in, and she's like, "David Cano, what are you doing here?" And I'm like, "Crap."
Were you all sweaty and?
I don't remember, dude, but this was about, I want to say maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And I was like, I need to see a doctor. And she's like, what's wrong with you? And this is like 1 a.m. And I was like, my heart's beating really fast. And then she looks at me and she's like, all right, well, just fill this out. And then she's like, how you been? Like, she's all trying to have a conversation with me. And I'm over here like all anxious and stuff. My heart's beating really fast. And I'm like, yeah, I've been all right. And then she's like, you did some passe, huh?
She said that, yeah. Hey, she's probably seen it.
I know. And then I was like, no. And then she just kind of like chuckled, you know. And then that was it. I sat down and then I went in the back and they were talking to me. They're like, all right, what did you take? Because they took my blood pressure and everything. Like, your blood pressure's high and your heart's beating really fast. And for your age, this isn't normal. Yeah. So what did you take? I was like, well, I took a pre-workout earlier and I had maybe like 3 cups of coffee. And the lady goes, son, your heart is at 160 and you're telling me that you took a pre-workout and you drank 3 cups of coffee throughout the entire day and your heart's this fast. I grew up in the 60s, okay? You can't lie to me. We're not the cops. She's like, we're not the cops here. We need to know what you took so that we can help you. And I was like, all right, I did some cocaine. And that was it. And then they treated me and they gave me some, I don't remember what they gave me. But I just basically sat there the whole night and waited for my heart to slow down. Yeah. And after that, they let me go. Yeah. That was the second time that happened
crazy,
to
man.
me because of cocaine.
I never, nothing like that ever happened to me, thankfully. Thankfully, nothing like that ever happened to me.
I only did weed a few times growing up. I was, the first time, 11 years old, did it with my siblings. And like, again, with my dad's side, one of my brothers, and I remember being so high I couldn't walk straight. I don't know if that's an effect, but I was just like,
it's your first time.
I couldn't keep my balance, and so I remember my dad saying, "Hey, you got him," to my brother. You got him high, didn't you? And I'm like, nope. And then I tried to turn and walk away, but I turned right into the tree and I just hit the floor, dude. Yeah. Boom. I was out, dude. The whole thing was just spinning. So that was the only time. And then I just ended up stopping. I was like, this is not for me.
Did you guys ever do salvia?
Yeah, salvia? I tried it once. That stuff smelled really bad, huh?
Yeah. Dude, I did it once, bro. And I was sitting down on a bench, Gallus. And I was sitting down outside of the bench in La Placita. Like, if you go downtown for Morley, there's benches there you can sit down on. So I did it, bro. And my cousin's all like, hey, come on, let's go. And I'm just like, I can't move. He's like, dude, what are you talking about? He's like, I'm stuck to the bench. And as I look down, bro, I swear that my hands became part of the bench. So, like, I was part of the bench, and I was just like, dude, I can't move, bro. And I'm like, and he's like, Beto, because my middle name's Alberto. Call me Beto. Beto, stop being stupid, bro. I'm like, I can't move. So he's like, well, try hard. So I'm just like, ugh, ugh. And I start walking like this, bro.
That's crazy, bro.
Like, I'm all stiff, dude. That was probably one of the, the shortest, quickest trips I've ever had. But
were you scared?
No.
I had a few trips like that too, but I never smoked salvia though. I did. It was Sherm.
What is salvia?
My crazy salvia is like,
it was like legal weed at the time.
Yeah, it's kind of like what is it nowadays?
A spice.
The synthetic weed.
But
type.
it smelled horrible.
Yeah, and it was 3 levels.
Isn't it like the stuff from the incense or something?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Well, I've seen how they make spice. They get like oregano or whatever type of seasoning that you have. That's like like a parsley.
Dude, when I started off,
that stuff is like it's like a quick trip though, right?
Yeah, it's like what are those called? The little cans that you
Whippets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did whippets too. One time I spent my whole rent money on cocaine, bro. It was me, my roommate, this one guy, and my roommate's girlfriend. right? We were at her house, and I was a type of I was chill. When I did drugs, I was chill. Never looked for confrontation, nothing like that. When it was weed, if I was tired, I would fall asleep no matter where I was at. At parties, I would fall asleep on couches. Like, I'd fall asleep, and then I'd open my eyes, and I'd just see people like, you know what I'm saying? But if I was tired, I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would move, I'm gonna go to sleep. One time, we were at the apartment, and I spent $400 on cocaine.
That was your whole paycheck?
That was back then. No, but my whole rent, because it was half and half.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I spent my whole rent money on cocaine. My roommate was there, our supplier was there, and his girlfriend was there. So we're there, and then all of a sudden more girls come, bro. But by this time, I'm pretty gone. You know what I'm saying? And then we start hitting the zong, which is bong, but just shaped like a Z. So I'm in the kitchen, bro, and I'm like this. I'm with my feet up like this, and I'm talking to this one girl, and bro, all of a sudden I feel like farting, bro.
I feel like farting right now.
Like when your stomach starts going like that. Like, oh my gosh. Dude, I was so high, bro. I didn't care, bro. I
Just let it rip.
And all of a sudden,
Oh man,
like that, bro. And I'm just like, oh yeah.
Girls like,
the girl's like, what was that?
Did you go check your pants after that?
Nah, bro, I didn't care. I was like, whatever, you know, you don't like it, get out of here. You know? But yeah, it kind of ruined the whole night there. And I wasted my whole...
so for $400, how much did you get?
But see, I was stupid and my supplier was smart because I just did 20s. It was just 20s. That's all.
Oh, you should have bought all at once, huh?
Yeah. But that night it was just 20s because I wasn't planning on it.
A whole ounce is like $600.
Yeah. So I wasn't planning on it, so I'd be like, okay, 20 here, 20 there, 20 here,
Dang,
20
that's
there,
insane,
20 there.
dude.
But
I wonder how many people actually do that like on a regular nowadays.
Well, the thing is that if you go to like a famous Sam's or anything like that, you go into the men's restroom, bro, you're going to see like 5 or 6 people inside of one stall. Mm-hmm. And what happens is everybody gets their keys out, right? Get your key out.
Or your credit card.
Or your credit
you
card.
Get a little piece.
You pass it, and then everybody shares it. Oh, you want to do mine? Oh, you want to do mine? Oh, okay, let me try yours. Oh, let me try yours. You know
in the bathroom, yeah.
Yeah, dude. And it's crazy.
Dude, like, when I used to sell cocaine, dude, I didn't sell to like thugs or like ghetto. Dude, I sold to people that you would never even imagine they did drugs. Yeah. Like older white people, young white kids that wanted a party. That was the crowd that I supplied. Wow. One, because the thing that I would do too, I wouldn't step on my stuff. I never cut it. So because I wouldn't cut it, normally a 20, you would weigh it at 0.5, mm-hmm. right? That's mm-hmm. a 20. Mm-hmm. But I would weigh mine at 0.3. But because I wouldn't cut them, right? Mm-hmm. So when I would go get it from the dude that was my supplier, he would give it to me in one big cookie, bro. Like huge, boom, toma, aquí está. And then I would break it up and put it in little bags, and I'd weigh it at 0.3. I would not step on it, bro. So that's what I would tell my people, because they'd be like, hey, this is skimpy. I'd be like, do you want quantity or quality?
Yeah.
And I would tell them, if you don't want it, give it back. I was like, but the only reason why I weigh them at 0.3, I said, is because I don't step on my stuff, bro. You're getting good stuff right there. And that's how I would make my money. Yeah. You know, so people trusted me because of that. They were like, well, you know, this dude, it's a little skimpy, but at least we know what we're taking. Yeah. Because other people like to cut it with other stuff, and you don't even know what you're doing.
Some people put battery acid on it.
Yeah, bro. Baby laxative.
No, I'm saying
basically just to make more money, bro. Yeah. So that they don't have to waste the cocaine. They'll mix it with something else to make it look like it's fat, but it's not all
soda. Some people are harmless stuff. Aspirin, ibuprofen, Tylenol, baking powder. You know what I'm saying?
And is it hard to tell?
You can tell, like, when you do it, that it's not, like, pure. Oh. It's not pure. Cocaine has that, like, ethery smell.
Yeah. And also when you, some people, you know, when you taste the quality, when you try the quality, you never snort to test the quality. You lick it. You take, like, whatever credit card.
All the cop shows are like, Oh, that's
Yeah, if
pure.
it
And
numbs
if it
you
numbs
right
your
away,
mouth right away, then that means it's pure or
Mhm.
purer.
if it takes a while, then it's cut.
Yeah.
You know, so that was the thing. So that's what I would tell my people. But the reason why I didn't like selling to like people like that were hood and everything is because I would run into problems, dude, like that. Well, at least throw some more on there. And I would tell them, nah, bro, I already told you I don't step on my stuff. If you don't want it, you don't have to take it.
Yeah.
And it would become a problem like, yeah, I thought you said this guy was cool, like with someone, and like, you know what I mean? I was like, I don't even want to deal with these people, dude. You
Dude,
know?
we had a neighbor, bro, that would become violent whenever he did cocaine. And this neighbor, he had a Dominican wife. They weren't neighbors. And they knew what...
I don't know what it's.
No, I'm just listening. I'm like, oh, but it was the wrong part to say that. Oh.
So this dude had been clean for a few months, right? Marriage is kind of being restored and stuff like that. And I remember one time being home alone, and I would clean our apartment every now and then, and open up our blinds and stuff like that. So it was kind of like that neighbor relationship where he could just kind of walk in, be like, "Hey, you here? Hey, how's it going, man? Come on in," So he comes into the
What
kitchen.
year was this?
This was probably 2007, 2008.
Oh, okay.
So he comes in and he's kind of talking to me, and on the side he sees a little dime bag I had of cocaine, and he's like, "Dude, is that cocaine or yayo or whatever he said?" I'm like, "Yeah, bro." He's like, "Could I have some?" And I'm like, "Take it, dude. Like, I don't care, I got more." He's like, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "Yeah, take it, bro." I knew how he would get the cocaine and stuff like that, but again, right, I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? We used to sell pills to a family, and they had 4 kids, bro. And I kid you not, this couple would go through 40 to 60 pills a day. A day, bro, with 4 kids.
What kind of pills?
Retrospect, Percocets, Valiums. That's both of them were the ones that we would kind of mess with and stuff like that. The Valiums with the blue pill with the little V in it, with the little wing on the top.
One of my friends died from those.
Really? Yeah. See. So, anyways, I gave that to him, right? And he kind of left, stuff like that. My friend gets home that night, and then all of a sudden we start hearing them fighting, bro. Start hearing them fighting. You could just tell he's being the snot out of her. So,
Did that make you feel guilty?
it did so what happened is this: he beats the living snot out of this lady, right? Leaves the house, and then this lady comes storming in. Well, starts banging on our door, and I tell my roommate, I was like, "Dude, this is gonna get." I said, "This was my bad, bro." So I opened the door, and I kid you not, bro, her face is all torn up, bro. Completely torn up, where I had to call the ambulance, bro. And she's like, "You did this, and obviously I never confessed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
You just did.
Kind of like in retrospect.
Right.
Like we were never really sellers, right? Or that we made money and stuff like that. No, we would probably buy weed to sell, but we just ended up smoking it. You know what I'm saying? So that was, to us, that was like our
giving some away to the
our
party,
love.
Right?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's whatever. It was never a lifestyle for us in the sense of selling and buying stuff, and no. So we were just it's like whatever. Yeah, here you go. But in retrospect, bro, seeing that you had a role in possibly destroying that marriage and that family because they had kids, and what those kids saw and stuff like that, that's just kind of like, oof, man. You know what I'm saying? And
bro, that is such a dark world, dude. And it's funny because during those times when you're living that, you're having fun, you have that adrenaline. But now, bro, like you look back and you're like, wow, dude, like I was in the freaking dark.
Yep. No, well, if you went into my room, bro, I had mold in my room because I would eat and I would leave my food laying around. You would look at my bed, there was a dark spot where I would sleep. You know what I'm saying? I would shower, right? But there was a dark spot where I would sleep because I would only sleep on one part of the bed, right? And I would remember, dude, like our kitchen, further down on the road, we started getting the heavier drugs. Mold, bro. You had sartenes, pans, pots and pans with like hair in them of the mold, like white hair. You know what I'm saying? Stuff that starts growing, bro. Because drugs became my life. I lost my job. I lost, the only reason I didn't lose my car was because of my mom. But I lost my job. I didn't even care about friends anymore. Friends and family were whatever.
How old were you when you were at this?
Probably between 19. Well, it's between 19 and 21. But when I got to this part was probably I was 21.
Man.
About 20 going into 21. And to me, it was just leave me alone as long as I have my drugs. You know what I'm saying? And I remember, bro, I would crawl through when I lost my job, stuff like that. I would crawl in my apartment in the rug trying to find little crumbs and little seeds of marijuana.
That's crazy.
Because I didn't have enough money to buy any. And I was you know what I'm saying? I was trying to find, bro, I would kind of go, kind of scrape the rug to see if anything would pop out, and then try to, gather enough to where I can at least feel something in my throat or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So I fell into like thank God I never fell into like a depression or severe depression or anxiety and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure that's the road I was headed down, right? If, Christ hadn't found me, right, and reached down. But my friend, he fell into depression. I remember getting home one night and the TV was on. I looked at the kitchen table, like a half-smoked blunt, other types of paraphernalia and drugs on there. And I'm just like, hey, I'm not going to say his name, but I'm like, hey, you here? Nothing, all the lights on and stuff like that. And I call his brother and I'm just like, hey, like I get home and he's like, no, we're in the ER. He's like, he started having like a panic attack. And I was like, what the heck? So what I did is right then I got all the drugs, bro, and I threw them away, flushed them down the toilet.
Those panic attacks are no joke,
like that.
bro.
Yeah, see, I've never had one, thank God. I've seen people have some, but yeah, my roommate got the bitter end of that because he started messing more.
Would you say that like kind of woke you up in your lifestyle, or did you just keep going down that road?
To me, bro, there was no way I could turn back. Like I was already too deep into this. Like I remember going to church, bro, in Nogales. I went to a revival.
Did you grow up in church?
Yeah, I grew up in church.
Oh, okay. A fellowship church or just?
Yeah, fellowship church.
Really?
So I'm driving down at 22nd. I'm going to make this quick. I'm driving down 22nd one day, and I get a call, and the contact name is a girl from Nogales church that I hadn't talked to in years. So I answer the phone, and this is when God started to pursue me. I answer the phone, and it's evangelist Richard Brooks, who recently passed away last year.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, Jesus loves you. He has a plan for your life. And he just starts going at me, bro. And I'm just like, what in the world is going on here? So, she gets on the line and she's like, hey, he told us to call people that
was it during a service?
Yeah.
Oh, they do.
Kind of like how they did it here once. So I go down to Nogales, bro. I go to a service, and the guy brings me up in front of the congregation. He's like, hey, he did a sermon where he would teach people how to street preach, how to give their testimony. So he brings up about half a dozen people, and he's like, hey, do you know their names? And I'm just like, yeah. I grew up with all these people. He's like, okay, I need you to tell me their names. And I'm just, okay, all right. He's like, they're going to give their testimony.
Oh, I think you told me this.
And I'm just like, okay, I'll do it, but just don't give me the mic. I was like, I don't want the mic.
You weren't even
I'm not saved. I'm not saved at all. So everybody gives their testimony, and then at the end, he hands me the mic.
To give your testimony?
To give my testimony. And I'm just like, I told you I don't want the mic. He's like, just go. And I'm just like, hi, my name is Daniel. I don't come to church. I don't plan on ever coming back to church. I'm like, I don't recommend you guys not coming to church, but I never see myself here ever again. And yeah. And then I look over at him, and he's like, good job. And I'm just like, what in the world are you talking about? Like,
You start
that's
witnessing to yourself.
Yeah, bro. Like that's when God really just started dealing with me. That's when I felt God's hand. Start pulling me, dude.
So you never felt His hand when you were like in all those drugs and in that whole life.
I did, in the sense of His protection.
But you never felt the tug to like the need to come back.
No.
Wow.
Because you get.
Yeah?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Well, the only thing is that, again, to me, I was so deep into this that I said, there's no way that I can turn back. There's no way that I can undo, that I can turn back from everything that I've done, everything that I've seen, everything that I've caused, the pain that I've caused. How can I ever go back? You know, how can I live without my drugs, basically? I couldn't live without my drugs. That was my passion. That was my love. I literally had a love for drugs. Like, I would get excited having them in my hand. I would just stare at it, bro, and you could see little heart-shaped, you know, emojis in my eyes whenever I would see this, because, you know, this was my escape.
Oh.
You get to a point when you backslide, bro. Sometimes you get to a point where you get so far away from God that you just don't care anymore, bro. Like, I could hear the gospel get preached and I'd be like, shut up.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's how I would feel. Like, you guys are stupid. Shut the heck up. That's how, like, blind and lost I was.
So knowing this now, that you guys have, I mean, I know Jerry's testimony. I mean, I know that was like the precursor to you surrendering your life, right? Was involvement with drugs.
Pretty much, yeah. I was doing just whatever I could just to get high, you know. I didn't even care about trying to find a job. I was like, man, I was just discouraged, you know. I was like, I'm not gonna look for a job. They're not even gonna call me. It's like, I'm just gonna do what I can and get high, and I would, man. I'll just, you know, do whatever I could here and there.
Since we're on the topic of drugs, bro, like, what's one of your craziest experiences with drugs?
my craziest is hitting a tree. You guys are like, I saw this and did this. Go ahead, Jerry.
I don't really talk about this too much, but one of my craziest experiences was this guy that I was working for. He paid me a lot less than what I was supposed to get paid for, and I was like, I was kind of like hanging out at the spot where we all used to get high. And I remember I had this big old leather coat on, dude, and one of my buddies there, he had this 12 gauge shotgun, and that guy came over there, and he was just sticking around there. I guess he was waiting for a ride or something, but he was expecting us to get him a ride. And I was like, dude, I'm gonna go grab that shotgun. I'm gonna shoot this guy. He owes me $400. And there's, you know, so I had like a little trailer, and I grabbed that shotgun. I stuck like that in the coat. Nobody could see it. And I was just like standing right there, like, when this guy walks close to me, I'm just gonna shoot him. But my friend, the owner of the house, just like meth, and like, you know, I was up for a few days.
Just like meth.
Just like
it's all justified.
You were up for a few days.
I was up for like only a few days.
Just tweaking.
Oh
just
my
tweaking.
God. Just
but,
only a
nothing
few
else.
weeks.
Yeah.
I didn't even care what happened, you know. I was like, man, I'm just gonna shoot this guy. He owes me $400.
$400.
Yeah, you know, when you're on that stuff, like, you don't think about that kind of stuff. You're just like,
$40 will set you up.
You owe me this money, and hey, you know, whatever gonna happen, it's gonna happen. But the owner of the house, like, his son was kind of like out there in the yard, and he kept like walking in and out the house. He's a younger kid, you know. And I was like, man, but in the back of my mind, I was like, man, I can't shoot this guy. And this kid's right here, and this guy's family's inside the house. I'm like, you know. But I was just thinking, I was like, man, should I do this? Should I not? But I'm glad I didn't, man, because, you know, who knows what could have happened after that, man, you know.
Did you ever talk about God when you were high, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Me too, bro. And my buddy would hate it because he's like, dude, you're ruining my high. Like, we would be driving down like Speedway or Broadway, and I'd be like, bro, imagine like a car hits us right now, we die, we go to hell, bro. Like right now.
I don't mean to laugh, but that's just, dude, that's the worst thing to hear, bro.
Really, Beto? Really? Right now? He's like, you're messing with my high. And I'm just like, bro, it's true, bro. Like, you know, like, if we die, we go to hell right now. I'm like, oh, crap, dude. And I'll be like, oh, my God, dude. I can't. And then, like, you talk about another subject. But it's, like, just, like, random, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I've heard stories about people witnessing to people.
As they were high.
While they were high, bro.
Bro,
like,
I've seen backsliders do that.
A lot of that's just trying to ease your conscience.
Oh, your convictions?
Your convictions, yeah.
Is that why you would do it?
Or you're trying to eat. No, I would just do it to mess with him. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I knew he would get mad. So every time, you know, every now and then I'd be like, hey, bro, if we die right now, dude, like something happens, someone shoots us, we go to hell, straight to hell, bro. And it was funny, but it was true. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of so like, funny. Dang, like, you know, by the grace of God, nothing happened, you know. There's other crazy stories that I'm just like, man, I could have died, or I'd be in jail, or, you know, stuff like that, bro. It's
Have you guys ever seen anything like aliens or spirits while you guys were on drugs?
Yeah, I have.
I saw greyhounds
And the boxers.
and the
I
boxers.
remember one night.
And that's it.
It was probably like 2 or 3 in the morning. I was high, you know. And I was up, I was just looking around, you know. And then I remember I looked up at the stars, man, and I seen like these, like, it was like a group of stars, and they looked like really purple, like bright purple. It was like 6 or 7 of them. And they were like kind of like in a circle like that. I was like, man, those are crazy looking stars. And then I'm looking at it for like a couple seconds, and I just see them go like that. I was like, man, where'd they go? You know?
How
What were you on?
They
On
disappeared?
meth.
Oh,
Yeah,
they
they just went outward and faded.
Like a
I've never seen
UFO?
that, I guess. It was a body of like lights. And
Was it? So
it
when you
wasn't like a spacecraft. It was just like separate lights. But they just
did
all,
you
like,
hear
spread
anything?
out. No, I didn't hear anything. I just saw them go. I was like, man,
Was it
that
silent?
Trippy. Yeah.
My brother had that experience. I told you that experience, right? My brother, he said one time that he wasn't on anything, actually. He went to his backyard. I think it was my Nana's backyard. When we were younger, we used to always be staying with my Nana and stuff here and there. So he goes out to the backyard, and he feels like a presence near him. And he looks up, and it's like right over the backyard. It's like he kind of sees the outline of something, like a saucer, you know? And it sucks up, but it sucks up all the sound around him. And he couldn't hear anything. He couldn't hear the cars passing. He couldn't hear
Oh, wow.
no sound at all. It was just sucked up. And he just said he looked at it, and he was just like kind of in awe, and then it just took off. Same thing.
Wow.
Like a UFO.
That's what he
I've seen weird stuff in the sky like that too, but I wasn't on any drugs. I was sober too.
Really?
There was this one time, and I wasn't the only one. It was me and 2 of my cousins, and it was in the night time. We were leaving my house, and I remember I looked towards the west, and I saw this like green light, but it looked like not an airplane, but it did look like some sort of like weird object, but it had green lights around it, or a green light, and it was like moving like this in like a zigzag effect.
Like the light trail was following it?
No, it was just moving like this, like that. And
How
then
far away was it?
it was up in the sky on the west. It was moving like this, and then it went, took off.
Oh, snap.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I was like, did you guys see that? And we're tripping out, dude.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you guys believe in aliens?
Well, this is
Not
the
really.
thing, bro. I
I don't
can't
believe in
say
aliens.
I can't say I do or that I don't. But
I don't. I can say I
don't
don't.
think that I don't think there is aliens. Honestly, bro, like whatever we see in the sky, these UFOs, if it's not the government testing new technology, it's fallen angels, bro. Because what does the Bible say when it says that we battle not against flesh and blood,
Yep.
but against?
Principalities.
Spirits and principalities, right?
But keep going. Against principalities and
Principalities in the air, right?
in the air, in high
Right.
places. What does that mean? Think about it, bro. So
Would
these
high
fallen
pl-
angels, the devil, I believe that they're roaming around in the universe, bro. That's why we see stuff in the sky. They're everywhere.
Do you
here
think
on
that
Earth,
they're
but
there to deter people away from?
Oh, absolutely. That's their
truth.
mission. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's their mission
So-
to deceive, right?
Yeah.
I mean, think about
Yeah.
it, bro. Astrology
Yeah.
comes from the sky, and it's completely demonic, bro.
Yeah.
Since the beginning of time, we have been fascinated with the stars. You look back into the civilization of the Mayans, the Aztecs,
Even the Greeks.
Giza,
Greeks
ancient
too,
Egypt. Yeah.
I remember one time, just to go off what you're saying about the stars. We've all done it. Where we're just relaxing, looking up at the stars, just daydreaming, night dreaming, if you would. And I remember focusing on a certain star and just looking at it. And I kid you not, man, the star just went like this and started like tracing around the sky and then just took off. Like one star out of all, like a cluster. And I was just like, how is that? Is that a helicopter? Sometimes you think the helicopters
Yeah.
are
The flashing lights.
Yeah.
like, would you think that? So is that a demon?
I don't. I mean, to me,
It could be a shooting star, right? Those happen.
I mean, what stars are balls of gas. You know what I'm saying?
Not a demon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get technical with you here, because demons don't have the ability to transform themselves into anything. They're
Demons
just
look for a host.
Yeah, demons look
they're
for
like
a host.
They're like
they're disembodied
oh yeah,
spirits.
There you
Remember,
go.
they're disembodied spirits. The fallen angels and even Lucifer, they have that ability. We might have even had encounters with angels and not even know it.
So do
Because
you
they-
think that those things that are sucking up the sound that we see, or that
So, like I said, it could be a fallen angel here to deceive. I don't think a holy angel would do something
because,
like
I
that.
mean-
No, because their purpose is to deceive, bro.
Fallen
Look,
angels.
I could be wrong. Well, I'm not gonna say that I fully believe this, but it kind of makes sense. But a lot of people believe that it could be possible that in the near future aliens will come and reveal to humans certain things, but that they're gonna be fallen angels trying to deceive people. Now, in ancient civilizations like the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Incas, the Egyptians, they all have in their hieroglyphics, is that what you call it? Like their old drawings and stuff, they all have these drawings of these beings ascending from heaven in like these flying objects. So how did the Aztecs and the Mayans draw and talk about the same types of creatures that ancient Egypt talked about? There's a show called Ancient Aliens. Have you guys heard of that show?
I've heard of that show.
And they go back to show you all this stuff, all this history. And when you start to watch this stuff, you're like, oh, snap. Like this has been recorded throughout history. Aliens are real. I believe, bro, that what they're calling aliens now, that these ancient civilizations were calling gods, were fallen angels that were coming down from heaven and giving man information that we didn't have. Technology.
I don't really think that they were. Everything you just said, I somewhat agree with. The thing I don't agree with is them actually revealing themselves to them. I think that they saw stuff like we did, right? And based off what they saw, took that information and kind of, you know, they doctrined it up a little bit and kind of made it their own. Like, you know, the Greeks, right? They have the sun god. They have, you know what I'm saying, the all types of god, Medusa, and they have Zeus, and they have Hercules, and they have all these mythological creatures.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think that they ever saw these creatures. It was more of a maybe something that they saw in the sky, or something that, you know, if we talk about paranormal activity, right? Talk about ghosts, and, you know what I'm saying? Getting into all of that is from that, they're just like, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to make it our own. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like Catholicism. It's a man-made religion. And what did they do? They took little steps here, little here, little here, little here. And all of a sudden, they created this big picture and made their own religion out of these little snapshots. Right? That these fallen angels, because I do believe that they're fallen angels, they're here to deceive. I do believe that, you know, ghosts are not ghosts. Those are demons. I think that if you open yourself up, like me, I don't have a lot of conversations about paranormal and ghosts and stuff like that, because I think the more you talk about it, the more you open yourself up,
The more you invoke it.
and the more you invoke it. So I'll give you a quick example. My wife was pregnant, and we're lying in bed, and she's telling me like stories that she's seen, because I really haven't had too many experiences.
Right.
But she's lived in houses where the table levitates, and as soon as you turn on the lights, boom, you know, and stuff like that. She's seen like an old lady across the hall, and she just kind of shut the door and went back to bed. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we're talking about this, and it's getting pretty like,
Starts to get you scared.
I'm
right?
like, oh my gosh. And all of a sudden, bro, out of nowhere. So in my neighborhood, you know, the houses are maybe like 15 feet apart, 10, 15 feet apart, little alley. And out of nowhere, bro, like right in the back of our bedroom, we hear a loud shotgun. Bah! Like, I'm talking about like someone just got nuked with like a 12 gauge. Bah! And I stand up, and my wife's pregnant, and her stomach gets tight. So I'm like, what the heck? Just somebody just got blown. Somebody either just got their brains blown out or the neighbors or something.
Wait, were you in a house or an apartment?
A house.
Okay.
The house I live in right now. So, dude, I go out and, at that point, I didn't have any firearms or anything like that for me to kind of feel safe, right? So I call 911, and I'm just like, hey, you need to get somebody out here. We just heard a loud gunshot. I said, something happened. And then I started hearing like a little noise in the garage and stuff like that. So, yeah. So I'm freaking out, bro. Like, that was loud. So, like, 15 minutes pass by. Then police gets there. 2 young dudes, I open and I'm just like, hey, it's right outside our living room. I'm hearing stuff in the garage. You know what I'm saying? So they go back there, look around. Nothing, bro. Nada. So they end up leaving. Nothing happens. The next morning, I go knock on my neighbor's door and I'm just like, were you here like last night? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, did you hear that shotgun go off? And he's like, no. And I'm just like, how could you not hear it? It's literally outside your window too. Like, boom. And he's like, no. And he has dogs, bro. And they didn't bark. Nothing. So I go back to my wife and I'm just like, hey.
Did you hear it?
No, she did.
Yeah.
How about we never talk about this ever again? I said, how about we never open ourselves to this again? Because I'm more than positive that it was linked to that, right? And that there was something spiritual that try to grip us there, because when you talk about it, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm a scary cat as it is. Like, I don't watch horror movies.
So the thing, I got a lot of stories like that, bro. Yeah. But it's going to take a long time. Yeah. And I think we're going to have to make another podcast to talk about these types of things. Yeah. But to come back to your question with the whole fallen angels thing, this is my opinion, okay? You know how the Bible talks about in Genesis chapter 6, the angels were coming down mating with the women, and how they created the race of the Nephilim and all that. Uh-huh. Okay. And then the book of Enoch in the beginning. Now you got to remember, the book of Enoch is a whole bunch of different fragments of different writings all put together. So I don't believe that the book of Enoch, like how we talked about last week, and we came to that conclusion that it wasn't, it didn't make it into the Bible for a reason. One of the pieces from the book of Enoch that I believe has some truth to it is where it picks up, right, where the book of Genesis 6 talks about the Nephilim, and it goes more in depth as to telling you what these angels did. And these fallen angels in the book of Enoch, and it names them all by name, they were teaching women stuff about astrology, about the plants and all that stuff. So they were giving knowledge to these women that humans didn't have. Now, you know how the Bible says that stuff like that, they're doctrines of demons. And you go back into the Old Testament, like even with Daniel and King Nebuchadnezzar, and how he's interpreting the dream, how he has these astrologers and all these other alternate spiritual people, and nobody can interpret the dream but Daniel. So these beliefs and all these doctrines of demons, like the Bible calls them, they have existed for a long time. So my opinion is
but you got to take into consideration, right? So if you talk about ghosts and stuff like that, right? Remember the witch of Endor, where King Saul goes to the witch and says, "I need you to contact the prophet Samuel." And what happens, right? She gets freaked out, and she's like, "Why are you scared?" She's like, "Because I see a man in a robe." So she actually managed to communicate with the prophet Samuel when the prophet Samuel was dead. You know what I'm saying? So
that's all through connections of
but what I'm saying is that's an account in the Bible, where, you know what I'm saying? Because right now everybody's, I'm not sure if it's as popular right now, right? But everybody's infatuated with paranormal activity and ghost hunting, and I'm gonna spend the night in a haunted hotel, and you just completely
jumped to a different subject, but okay.
Sorry. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Just the conclusion was that, in my opinion, I do believe that a lot of I do believe that fallen angels have been deceiving us since the beginning of time.
agree with that.
Just how Lucifer, Satan, he's a fallen angel.
Yeah.
And that we're being deceived with what? All this new age garbage, aliens and alternate universes and quantum physics and spirit science and metaphysics and all this stuff, dude. Like it's all demonic to draw people away from God, to make people think like, wow, there are more.
Well, the fallen angels and the demons go hand in hand, right? It's just fallen angels don't need a host. Demons need a host,
Right.
but their mission is to deceive. That's their main mission. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And that's how I'm kind of tying the whole ghost thing to the fallen
So
angels.
there's
thing.
this new
So,
app.
Yeah.
There's this new app out right now. Rando Nodding. That's the app. This is a really big thing on like TikTok and Instagram. It's called Rando Nodding. And so I never really did any research on it or looked into it. But it made it very intriguing when two girls found a suitcase by the beach. And what this app does, now this is the description of the app. What you do is you open up the app and you think of what you want to see. And then you hit go and it creates these coordinates. And you follow those coordinates based off of your location. And it's supposed to be able to tell you what you were summoning or speaking into existence through your mind. That's what this app does. It's a form of witchcraft is what it is. Because these girls, they go and they find a suitcase by the beach. They open it up. Guess what's inside?
Money.
Body parts.
Oh, snap.
Tell them about the couple.
And so another couple, and they do it in groups. Okay, I have a couple stories. Another couple, they get this app and they're looking at it. And this is an app that just recently, since April, because of COVID-19, because of the pandemic, has grown by 6 million downloads.
Yeah.
Has a total of 8 million for the life of it. So 6 million of the downloads are just this year. Now, they think of death in their minds. And it takes them to a coordinate. Now, I don't know how true this is, but this is what people are talking about in the news about this app. They go to the coordinates and they say that a woman had just gotten hit by a car and her husband's still with her saying, call the ambulance, call 911, and she ends up dying on the exact coordinates that happened.
Because they said they wanted to see a dead body, though.
Yeah, they wanted to, yeah, that's what they wanted.
And then they felt horrible because they felt like
Yeah.
they were the ones
They
that
caused it.
the death.
So
Yeah.
they wouldn't have
It's
asked
called
for it.
random nodding, a new phenomenon and hobby that led friends to stumble across dead body involving using random numbers, generated producer coordinates. And then, so here's another story, okay? And then we can finish. And then I can go into the point of why this is so, because society is so obsessed
Yeah, I was gonna say.
with paranormal.
Well, not only that, right? But you have entire cultures that are built, like the Hispanic culture, Day of the Dead, right? They have
Yeah.
this whole, you know what I'm saying, like, oh, well, my tata's spirit is still here
Yeah.
because he has unfinished business, or, you know what I'm saying, like,
not your tata, homie.
it's kind of like
But
how,
New Age and witchcraft, bro, are really becoming a part of today's culture. Like the Ouija board, for example. You can find a Ouija board at a toy store in the game section. Spirit Halloween, dude.
Yeah.
You know, and it was even in the new Adams movie that came out, what was it, last year?
Oh, yeah.
Where they're playing the Ouija board all normal, like if it's something normal, dude.
So these group of friends, there's 3 friends, and they put this on Reddit because they're like, is this normal? Does it like, are we crazy? They said that they wanted to experience, and a lot of people do like, I want to experience peace, and it'll lead them to a cemetery, and then on the corners, the name of the cemetery is Joy, and they felt good. And one person was like, they just envisioned the color red, and the coordinates popped up, and it took them to a red couch in the middle of nowhere. Random stuff.
Wow.
So some guy was like, oh, I want to see a fridge. And it was a random fridge in the middle of the forest. Just crazy stuff that people are just like. And so these group of friends, they're like, oh, I want to feel the experience of fight or flight. But they do it, right? And it takes them to this trail. And the coordinates are like in an enclosure. And they have to jump a gate to get to those coordinates. And it's midnight. So they follow the coordinates, they go, and they said they see something like white in the dark almost like if you were to shine a light on it, you would see like what it was, but with the moonlight, you could still see the white going around, you know? So they hear a sound of like almost pigs squealing or a loud something other, and they all hear it, but they continue to keep going forward. And they see this thing. They said that the guy describing it says, I can't stare at it because every time I look at it, it goes to my peripheral vision.
That's crazy.
The image of it shoots to my peripheral, so I have to look through my peripheral vision in order to see it. And so he says, as I'm experiencing this, my friend says, I can't see it, only on the side of my eye. And then the other friend's like, me too. And he's all, and then I said, same here. And so they're all trying to see this thing. And he says, like, the more and more they focus on it, it starts vibrating. And so at that point, it like charged at them, and they took off with fight or flight with this adrenaline rush, and they made it back to the car and they took off. And he was like warning people, do not use this app.
Yeah.
Because, where did you watch this?
No, it's on Reddit. I was reading it.
On Reddit.
So I think, again,
and like you were saying, though, my point was they were wanting to experience this. They were wanting to talk about it.
You're opening yourself up to it. You know what I'm saying?
They're making themselves susceptible to this spirit of fear, this spirit of whatever.
Well, they're
summoning.
It could be a fallen angel, or it can be a demon.
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day is, we don't fight against flesh and blood. Right? When you talk about the spiritual realm, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff going on in the spiritual realm that we have no privy to, right? We have stories and everything like that, but I think it's devil's strategy. The devil's strategy is the same, always been, from the garden to today, deceiving people. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? And people are infatuated with paranormal. People are infatuated with ghosts. They want to see something. They want to experience something. And if you're not covered by the Holy Spirit and the blood of Christ, then guess what? The devil will show you something.
Yeah.
And then guess what? You're going to start believing that. And because you saw that, okay, then this is real. Don't matter that the Bible says this, or that, a pastor says this or whatnot, or that the Holy Spirit says this. It's no, I saw it with my eyes. Okay, but it was deception,
Right. And not only that, it's like if you put yourself in that position and you do not know Christ, you do not have that covering, the blood of Christ over your body, you're not going to be able to defend yourself. You're not going to be able to protect yourself. So just don't do it, because it's going to destroy your life and those around you. Because one thing that we've talked outside, about this, but one thing that I've realized is experiences with paranormal or demonic, let's just call it what it is, with demonic activity, it doesn't just affect you. It's always linked to someone close to you. It doesn't just affect you, but it links to a relative. It links to a loved one. It links
somebody doing witchcraft on you.
Yeah, and so you need to be
At
careful
times,
because
not always.
Yeah, I mean, but there's been multiple times where things have happened and it's automatically linked to something else. Daniel, we want to thank you for coming out, man. We hope you enjoyed yourself. Jerry,
we should have a part 2 to continue the paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think we could have gotten a lot deeper
into it.
Yeah.
We need more.
Drop in the comments if you want us to get deeper into the paranormal activity stuff, more stories, more solutions, I guess you could call it.
Definitely bring more biblical perspective.
Yeah.
Can you come back for a part 2?
Yeah, because there's a lot that
that we missed, and I want to put out there, we are not experts in these areas.
No.
Obviously, this is just something that I was talking to David and Sergio about, and what are the coincidences that all three of us have had personal experiences with a demonic presence, and it was only for the blood of Jesus that we were able to get through that. And so how many more people out there that have these experiences that are dealing with things and don't have the answer? So if you guys want us to talk more about this, drop a like or a comment and let us know, and we get these guys back on and discuss it.
For sure, man. Yeah. Thanks for having me on. Cool, guys.
Peace.